Hello, I'm Chef Eli with the Blaise Bernstein School of Culinary Arts and the Stern Family Teaching Kitchen. Today we're going to be making some horchata ice cream. So horchata is a rice milk beverage which is generally drunk in Mexico as well as other Southern American countries. So we are going to start out with our ingredients. So we have our rice. This is a 1/3 cup of rice. We have our cinnamon, which is a tablespoon. We have our salt. You definitely do not want to use this much salt, so you just want a little pinch. And then we have a 1/2 cup of sugar, 4 egg yolks, as well as 1 1/4 cup of heavy cream, and 1 1/2 cups of milk. So you always want to use 1/2 and 1/2 for a ice cream base. It tends to give the best mouthfeel from the actual finished product. So I'm also using today a KitchenAid stand mixer with the ice cream bowl attachment on it. So we are going to start out with our rice. So we're going to be toasting our rice today. So this is in preparation for starting our steaming process for the milk. So this is actually going to, when we toast our rice, it's actually going to bring out a lot of its aromatic qualities and make it so that the rice actually infuses into our cream and milk, since we're not going to be leaving it for as long as you normally would for horchata. So I'm going to start out. You want to have your pan on about medium-high heat. And you do not want to do this for very long. You just want to see the slightest signs of the rice browning. And then as soon as you start to see some smoke come up from the pot, then you're gonna just stop it and just continue to move forward. All right, at this point, we are starting to see some smoke begin to rise. And since we are at that point here, we are going to start our steeping. So we are going to add first our heavy cream. Make sure that you are holding the pot while you do that, because it loves to splatter, so we don't want you to hurt yourselves. And then we're gonna add our milk in as well. All right, so we're gonna bring that temperature back up to about, it's about 145. Then we're going to cover and allow this to simmer, or allow this to sit and steep for about 20 more minutes. The reason that we do this process of steaming the milk and the cream with the rice is that it brings the temperature up and allows the rice to even more intensely penetrate our milk and our cream. The reason that we steep it is the same. It's all going to absorb the different flavors. The rice will actually absorb some of your cooking liquid here, and that'll flavor it as well if you want to use that for different applications. There. All right, so now we are up at a steam. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to cover this and then allow it to sit covered for about 20 minutes. While your cream is steeping, you also want to make sure that you stir it probably twice throughout the process, just to make sure that it does not form a skin over the top. In the last 5 minutes of our steaming process, we are going to transfer over and start to do our egg mixture. So this is going to serve as our actual base for our creme anglaise, which is a fancy term for an ice cream base. So we're adding 4 egg yolks, our entire 1/2 cup of sugar, our full tablespoon of cinnamon, and then just a small pinch of salt. All right, so we are going to take that and mix it all up. You gotta use a whisk for this part. because you want all of these spices and the eggs to mix together and really and have no big chunks that will cause some very intense pops of flavor in your ice cream. So, whisking that together, it will not turn into a dough. It will not turn into a like sauce-like consistency as of yet. It's going to look more like that, where you have kind of an interesting amalgamation of the different flavors. All right. So, next up, our milk is done steaming. So, we're gonna take the cap off of there. And at this point, an important thing to take into consideration is that the milk cannot be too hot. If the milk is too hot for this step, too hot means somewhere around 145 to 150. Anything below that should work. You have a very high chance of curdling your eggs, which means essentially creating scrambled eggs in your mixture. All right, so now that we have our finished egg mixture, I am going to come over and we're going to strain off our liquid. So, straining off our liquid is going to just take the rice out. It's going to make the all of the flavored milk a little bit more potable. And remember, you can save this this rice and make some rice pudding with it later, or a number of other things. Okay, I'm going to take that out. So we've strained it all out, and then this mixture is what we're going to pour into our eggs here. So, over. We're gonna get our whisk ready because you have to continue to mix while you do this process. Alright. And we wanna just get it to the point where there's a little bit of liquid in there. So what this does is it brings the eggs up to the temperature of your cream mixture, and it makes it so that they will not curdle as soon as you put them into the mixture. All right, so that finished product should look something like that. And then we are gonna come back in and we are gonna stir very vigorously while we add our mixture back into the cream. All right, so that has been added. Next up, you're gonna probably wanna clean out your pot. I, on the other hand, have another handy dandy pot for us. So, now we are going to add our cream mixture back into our pot. And then it will heat. We will heat it up on medium to low heat for about 10 to 12 minutes, stirring constantly with a spatula or a wooden spoon. You don't want to use a whisk for this because it'll actually start to aerate your heavy cream. And that makes the sauce take much longer to come together. So the other important things when you're making your ice cream base is you never ever want to let this mixture get over 165 degrees. As soon as it does that, you'll have scrambled eggs. So because it's an ice cream base, it's actually, you want your creme anglaise to thicken a lot less than what you would normally call a creme anglaise when you're using it as a sauce. This mixture is also one of the best French toast batters I have ever used. It's got so much more flavor, it's got so much more richness, it's got so much more body to it. I would absolutely use it on hollow French toast. So aerating is the process of cream, especially cold cream, actually grabbing onto the air as you whisk it. It's how you make whipped cream. That process is unhelpful for this because you want the cream to stay entirely unaerated until you actually start to mix it in your ice cream bowl. You can also absolutely use any different kind of ice cream maker. This recipe will work with a Ninja Creamy or our stand mixer bowl like I'm using today. It also works on industrial grade ice cream makers as well as any, even a mason jar you could use. You have to cool the cream mixture down, or you have to cool your entire base down all the way to something like, if you can manage to get it to like 35 degrees Fahrenheit. And then you'll pour it into a mason jar, close the lid real tight, and then you just shake that up until the cream starts to do what we were talking about, aerate. You have to be careful though, because doing that method, it is incredibly easy to over aerate it and turn it into frozen ice cream, which is a very bad texture. So we are starting to get there. We want it to thicken up a little bit more than this. Right, so now we have our finished ice cream base. So we are going to strain that once again. Feel free to use the strainer that you used for your rice to get even a little bit more flavor in there. So we will strain this off into I am using a glass bowl so that we can see things a little bit easier for the video, but you would want to use a metal bowl for this so that you can transfer it and get the liquid pulled as quickly as possible. Metal will conduct heat significantly more than glass and especially more than plastic. So you will end up making your job a lot harder essentially. Right, so to rapidly cool any sauce that you want to, the easiest way is to get an ice bath, and then you will place your bowl actually into your ice bath here, and then once it's settled, okay, then we are going to come again and grab our whisk from before, and then you can just slowly whisk. You don't want to whisk fast or you'll end up aerating, but you can slowly whisk this in until it comes down to a likely 45 degrees, which is going to take quite a while, but so it's a good arm workout. It works out perfectly. Right, once that is done, then you're going to come over and you're going to place your bowl into your fridge. Then you have to wait about another 4 or so hours for that to chill all the way down to 45 or below, or 42 or below. Also, it's important to do this resting process because it actually allows the sauce to meld and all of the flavors to come together more, so you'll get a more complete ice cream. So now that we have waited our 4 hours, we are gonna grab our creme anglaise out of the fridge. You'll see it thickens up considerably as it sits, so you get more of a texture of, say, almost like a pudding texture. And then we are going to come over and grab, if you're using a KitchenAid mixer, you want to make sure that you have it in the freezer for at least 24 hours before you actually come out to do this. So, I'm gonna set this up. And then you will pour your ice cream base in while you mix on the very lowest setting here. As we mix, you can already start to see the edges of the ice creams forming. A little bit in there. And don't worry if you dribble a little bit on the sides, that will come down to the bottom and not affect your product. Alright, so now we're gonna wait about 20 to 25 minutes while this mixes. And then we'll see our soft serve consistency ice cream. Alright, so that's what we want our ice cream to look like. So after this, we are going to want to cure this for about, usually around 12 hours or so. Curing this means that we're going to leave it in the bowl. Because this bowl is so cold, it's actually keeping the consistency at the right level. But if you were to take it out, then about 1/5 of your ice cream would end up loosening and becoming a liquid consistency again, and then that ruins the whole final product. So, our bowl's gonna go in. Now we have our finished product. So, you're gonna wanna cover your ice cream when you have it in the freezer, just for ease of access. I've got it uncovered. So now you want your ice cream to scoop pretty easily, but you want it to still hold its shape like that. Enjoy!